From NPR, ladies and gentlemen, after an ex-DOGE staffer's assault, Trump threatens to federalize D.C. My friends, Big Balls has earned not just the name, but the title after, if you guys don't know the story, that guy who goes by Big Balls, who worked for DOGE, I believe the story is that he saw a young woman being carjacked, intervened to save her, and got mercilessly beaten. But as it was going on, cops pulled up, the attackers fled, and he had saved this young lady, earning not just the name that he had bestowed upon himself, confirming it, but also the title of having big balls. And following this, Trump responded saying that maybe we need to federalize D.C., and he should, he can, and I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should stop at D.C. I think you should do New York, L.A., Chicago. I'm serious, because it's like, this is a total embarrassment that our city, our capital city, looks like this. I've been to Tokyo. Charlie Kirk was talking about it today. Tokyo, obviously, there's some, intangible differences between...
Yeah, like all the masturbation stores they have in Tokyo.
Yeah, maybe that helps. Maybe, maybe a little gooning goes a long way, but...
a little gooning,
But no, but like, for real, it's a total embarrassment, and Trump totally has a justification to go in and actually solve these cities. I mean, New York City's about to elect like a radical Marxist Muslim from Uganda. I mean, like, what are we doing here? Federalize it. Whatever you need to do. Will it happen? Well, I don't know, but he totally should. He shouldn't stop at D.C.
Yeah, I want to stress that I find Japan to be disgusting.
Oh, they're definitely pure to the gills.
They have vending machines with like women's,
Oh yeah, there's
underwear and just other really nasty stuff. And dude, I'm a big fan of just Japan in general, you know. But going there's some really great things. Like I stayed at a hotel, and for breakfast we had like a regular continental breakfast, and I was like, hey, look at this, eggs and sausage. But the bread basket were these weird little buns, and opened them up. They were rice buns. It was amazing. And I went to a karaoke bar, and it was shoulder to shoulder packed. And I sang with our fixer. We sang, what are we saying? That Aladdin song, Show You the World. What's it called?
Whole New World?
Whole New World. There you go.
That's
I did a duet with this old lady. Rest in peace. She died of cancer. She was a fixer going into Fukushima. I had an amazing time. But, I got to tell you, you go to the city, and they've got these signs everywhere. And I'm like, I thought it was a fast food restaurant. I kept asking, like, what is this place we keep seeing? It was a masturbatorium. And they're everywhere. And I'm like, this is a disgusting country.
Japan definitely does not have Western sensibilities. That goes without saying.
If you go to Austin, Texas, you'll see some masturbatorium. It's called underpasses.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
No WNBA games allowed.
And the
in
gooning
Japan.
there is not regulated in Austin. It's all off the books.
Japan,
But in all seriousness, you are correct that other capital cities don't look like ours, and it is disgusting that this country is the greatest country in the country on the planet, but DC is a crime-ridden scumhole.
DC just sucks. It just does. I don't care what anybody says.
Bro, we've been going there for these live shows. We're doing Culture War. May sell out the Culture War this Friday. So I think we got a couple dozen tickets left. So it's looking decent, but we sell big chunks. We've been going there. You drive through D.C., there are tents just on the sidewalk. Not underpasses, not near construction sites, near buildings where people work and live. There's just like 3 tents. And I'm like, why do they not remove this? What is wrong with this city? And I'm going to say this, why won't Trump? Why won't Trump just do it? I'm done. I am so sick of this. Maybe Trump's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to win and then just dangle it but do nothing to get him blue-balled, and the next guy's going to go ham. Is that his plan? Just get us all worked up being like, maybe he'll enforce the law, and then when he doesn't, we vote for the guy with the iron fist?
Yeah, the one thing that's the upside is the entire admin is radicalized after seeing this happen, that it could be any of them, and they're all weighing on Trump heavily to consider this. And like the thing about Trump is he definitely listens to people that are around him a little too much sometimes.
I mean, they definitely want to do it. I mean, the thing about DC is, though, it went 95% for his opponents and all these. They're the ones who are like the most opposed to it. And it's like, we're trying to help you so you can walk around at night and not have to worry about shootings at nightclubs. Because, I mean, DC has completely changed over the last 10 years. I mean, it's become much more violent. The nightlife has died out. There's all these now homeless encampments, and they don't arrest people. The only people they arrest are the few who actually practice self-defense. Because there was a story a few years ago, actually I think it was like last year, where a guy confronted these carjackers, these kids who were, youths. They're carjacking, and, they got in a scuffle. He pulled out a gun, they attacked him, and he shot him. And they first all was like, this must have been a white supremacist who did this. I'm like, probably not. It turned out to be a black city employee or government worker. And then they're like cooled off. It's like, well, we can't make this about racism, but we still can't have citizens, even if they're black, white, Hispanic, or whatever, shooting at criminals. And then they convicted them of very serious charges. So the only people that they're able to really convict are the few who actually try to stand up for themselves against the criminals. Because most of the time, if Big Balls was not Big Balls, they'd probably just forgotten about this. Yeah. I have had friends who've gotten their cars broken into or their motorcycles stolen, and the cops just say, tough luck. Yeah. And that even happens with assaults and everything. And the only reason that this is getting national attention is because it's pissed off the United States of America, President of the United States of America.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, I don't even care about protecting D.C. residents or doing anything good for them. Honestly, like, screw them. I care about the patriots that live in the city and work. Right. There's not many of them, so we need to protect them. And yeah, so if this is going to help DC, it's like, I don't really care. I'm not counter-signaling. I'm just saying, like, I don't care if it helps people in DC at all. This is for patriots so they can go to and fro patriot institutions safely.
Well,
it's our nation's capital. We should, and there's all these tourists from middle America, and they don't want to be attacked and robbed.
You know what's happening now is people are fleeing DC, and they're moving out here, and they're turning the areas purple, and they're bringing their dumb politics with them. It's wild, the developments that are going on in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Like, there are plots of land out here that we were looking at years ago, and it was like big plot of land, couple $1 million, something. They're sold, and now there's like 50 houses. Mm-hmm. And it's just each house now selling for $500,000. And who's moving in? People from D.C. who don't want to live in crime, who voted for it, and who will vote for it here and make everything worse. And that's what they do. It's like that scene from The Matrix where Agent Smith is like, I tried to classify humans. And then he basically says that humans are a disease, a virus that's spread from one region to another, destroying it. Liberals, maybe.
Yeah. It's like the aliens from Independence Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I live in my place around here is in one of the new developments. I'm the, first person to rent the place. And the area is nice and all my neighbors are nice and stuff, but it's like, I do wonder, it's like how many of these people are actually going to vote for, conservative ideas? Are the people that are moving in here, are they actually going to, vote red, or are they going to be, liberals and essentially try to make this place like where they came from? And it worries me because I like the laws here in West Virginia. They're even though my vote doesn't really matter because it's a very red state, I don't want to see it change. Yeah. So
that's an argument to to get rid of the crime, because you keep it as a Democrat enclosure. These people stay there. They don't have a senator. They don't have any senators. And that's a reason to clean it up, is that you can have their little utopia in D.C. and they're not moving out to West Virginia or to Virginia. Maryland's already blue, but it helps the other states have a competitive advantage and stay red.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's kind of this somewhat of a fallacy that Republicans have embraced, is like they can just change everyone's minds, and it's like at a certain level, you got to Daddy's got to lay the hammer down, like the UN chief or the NATO chief called.
For people to change,
so accurate. It's like you have to lay the hammer down here.
For people to change their mind, they need to actually have something happen to them, not just move, right? Like, people have a nature, right? Like, I don't believe in the blank slate one bit. I think that people have a nature. When you're born, you're probably gonna be a conservative. You're probably gonna be a liberal. If something happens to you, that might change the way you see things. Like, if you are a liberal and you get mugged or whatever, you might be like, well, maybe we do need more police, or maybe I should support the Second Amendment. But there's no guarantee of that, because you hear stories about people that get mugged and they're like, well, the poor guy that mugged me, he, they start making excuses like he was oppressed or whatever, he had a hard life or whatever. So I don't believe that it's easy to change people's minds, or you can really have a conversation and make people say, you know what, I do think the left is actually wrong now. It's much harder than that.
I love that video that James O'Keefe did where they went door to door, and he's like, hi, we're gun control advocates. We believe that strong gun laws can prevent violence. We were wondering if you agreed. And they're like, yes, of course. We think, in gun control. He's like, do you own a gun? They're like, oh, we don't. He's like, can I put this sign in your yard so that we can, and the sign says proud gun-free home. And the people are like, no, I don't want that on my lawn. And he's like, well, but why not? I mean, we're here to make a statement that you don't need guns. And it's like, well, it sounds like you're inviting people. And then James goes, it sounds like you're saying you need guns. He's like, well, no, but yeah, we get it. You hope everyone thinks you have a gun, and you don't want to tell them you don't.
Yeah.
Because they wish they had guns. That's it. There was one viral video I saw where some woman bought a gun, and then someone in her family, she was secretly recording herself, and they were insulting her and calling her stupid for buying a gun, saying it's dangerous, you're crazy, you're going down a rabbit hole, blah, 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 far right. Go back to Venezuela. You live there under the government. See how that goes for you.
You had that one. I don't remember the name. It was he was like a progressive Brooklyn activist, and he was with his girlfriend on the street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then he got like stabbed to death, and his girlfriend was like, "Oh, he would have forgave the guy."
Yeah.
And then she's like stumping for Zoran now. So it's like people could literally have the worst thing possible happen right in front of their face, and they won't change their
They're
policy.
that fanatically loyal to these ideas.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in DC are like that. There was a guy there's one story is like in 2021 or 2022 when the crime was really bad. It's bad now, but it was really bad then. And there was some guy who built up a basketball goal for these local youth to play, and it was near his house, but they would play late and disrupt his kid's sleep. He had like a young daughter. And he went out and went nicely to tell them to not play basketball. And they're like, they thought he was disrespecting him, and then they beat the crap out of him, and there was like blood all over the street. And then they took down the basketball goal, and then like, we still feel it was bad because, we're white and they were not, and we're, we're trying to be sensitive in this. And it's like these kids nearly beat your husband to death, and you still have these views.
Yeah, that's the suicidal empathy that they talk about these days.
I don't believe that that's a real thing, though. I think they're just terrified people. It's more of like capture. Like when that guy at the house says, "No, don't put that sign in my lawn," it was him telling on himself. He knows exactly the importance of guns and guns as a deterrent. So he doesn't want to advertise he doesn't have one. These people who are doing this thing about, oh, but white people, whatever, what they're really saying is, please just stop attacking us. I'll say whatever you want.
It's like what was the story from a couple of years ago about the woman who did the TED Talk with the guy who raped her?
Oh yeah.
That's not fear. That's just insane.
There are a few insane people who will do that because there's been even stories that they love to highlight post Floyd, whereas like some daughter reached out to their father's killer.
Yeah.
And of course he was from an oppressed group, and we wanted to reach an understanding with him. And there was like even the stuff with Molly Tibbetts' family, if you guys remember Molly Tibbetts, who was that University of Iowa student who was raped and murdered by an illegal immigrant. And her family spent more of their time defending illegal immigrants and in some ways sympathizing with the killer because they're so upset that Don Jr. and other Trump conservatives were highlighting this case to show the danger of illegal immigration. And then they went all aboard to say, we love illegal immigrants. And
Well,
we won't allow this to be politicized.
You all saw that AI interview that Acosta
Yeah.
did with the puppeteered corpse.
Yeah.
I refer to that as Jim Acosta puppeteering a corpse. He, for those not familiar, the family of one of the Parkland victims loaded an image into an AI generator and some prompts to create a version of a facsimile of their son. I don't see that as any different than exhuming the corpse and jamming your hand in the back of the skull and puppeteering the face. So I think this is all just generally disgusting. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.